Alpha Math Lab, Lab 12. Select Lab 12 from Math Lab Home. Lab 12 Basic Geometric Shapes. Or select Labs from Math Lab Home and click Basic Geometric Shapes, Lab 12. Learn about rectangle, circle, hexagon, etc. Learn the properties of geometric shapes. Make 3D shapes and animate. Lab 12 is a special lab. Labs with the star sign are special labs. Select Lab 12. There are various geometrical shapes on top of this lab. These are the buttons to animate the shape, and this is the button to delete, and this button we use for copying the figure. Use these scroll bars to change the length, width and height of the diagram. Use this drop-down list for changing the color. This checkbox for filling the shape, and this particular checkbox to convert a shape into a 3D shape. Let us start with a triangle. We get a triangle on screen. The properties of the triangles are mentioned in this box. Number of sides 3, number of angles 3, sum of interior angles 180 degrees, sum of exterior angles 360 degrees. Sum of two sides is greater than the third side. In a triangle, sum of any two sides is greater than the third side. Side opposite to greater angle is greater. Suppose this angle is greater, the side opposite to it will be the greater side. Angle opposite to longer side is greater. The angle opposite to the longer side of a triangle will be greater among all the three. Measure of an exterior angle is equal to the sum of its interior opposite angles. If you extend a side and draw an angle outside, the angle is known as an exterior angle. Measure of this exterior angle is equal to the sum of the interior opposite angles. So these are the different properties of a triangle. Change the color to brown. Change the length and width. And the height is only for three-dimensional figures. Convert the shape to a 3D shape. Now we get a prism with triangular cross-section. Adjust the height of the prism to 4 centimeters. Now use these animation buttons to move. This control is to move up, and this control is to move the diagram down. Use this control to move the diagram towards the left. Use these two controls to rotate the diagram. Rotate in the opposite direction. And this control is to roll the diagram. Use the other control to roll in the opposite direction. This is to delete the diagram. Now if you want to draw the diagram again, click on the triangle. Use this control to copy the diagram and paste it on another document. Back to the lab. Now let us draw some other shapes. Make a two-dimensional picture by unchecking the checkbox. Select a quadrilateral. Please note that by length and width, we only mean the entire diagram. The length is measured in this way and width is measured in this way, and height is only for three-dimensional figures. So make it here the properties of quadrilateral are number of sides 4, angles 4, number of diagonals 2. Diagonal is line segment joining one corner to the opposite corner. Sum of exterior angles is 360. Sum of interior angles is also 360 degrees. Convert this diagram into a 3D shape. Now you can move it as in the previous case. You can turn it. Now we delete the diagram. Select kite. Change this into a two-dimensional shape. Here are the properties of kite. Select a rectangle. Length is equal to 7.8 and width is equal to 3.6. All the properties of the rectangle are mentioned here. Convert the shape into a 3D shape. We get a prism with a rectangular cross-section. It's also known as a cuboid. Animate. Delete the diagram. Click square. We get a square prism. Adjust the height of the prism. Now change into a two-dimensional shape. So all the properties of the square will be mentioned here. And when it is a square, the length and width has to be the same. So if you change the length, the width is also automatically adjusted to become equal to the length. Or if you change the width, you can't change the width because the length is 5.9 centimeter. Use only this length control to change length and width. For a square, now change the shape to a parallelogram. Now the properties of the parallelogram are mentioned over here. Convert into a 3D shape. It is a prism with cross-section as parallelogram. Again change into a two-dimensional shape. A rhombus, properties of the rhombus. For a rhombus you can change length and width as you wish. Convert into a 3D shape. Trapezium. Pentagon. Hexagon. Adjust the width. Circle with all its properties. Ellipse. For an ellipse you can change the length and width. In case of a circle, the length and width are always equal. If you change the length, the width is also adjusted. Sector of a circle, segment of a circle. Select circle again, convert into a 3D shape, you get a cylinder. Now adjust the height, adjust the length. Here by length we mean the diameter of the circle. Use this drop-down list to change the color. And you can paste this can copy and paste the diagram on any other document. Back to lab, delete, select labs.